Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/AITA. In today's episode, AITA for calling my BIL a joke of a father in front of his wife and kids? AITA for celebrating my birthday. AITA for buying all the red Gatorade at the store even though a mom wanted some for her kids? Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. AITA for calling my BIL a joke of a father in front of his wife and kids? My sister Rachel was married to Daniel, 40M, for 8 years. They were high school sweethearts and they tied the knot shortly after their graduation. They had a daughter together, Alice, 16F, who was Rachel's entire world. Rachel ended up being diagnosed with cancer when she was a few weeks away from delivery, and after Alice was born, she started chemo ASAP. It ended up being treatment resistant and aggressive, and Rachel ended up passing by the time Alice was 2. Daniel emotionally checked out completely. He decided to take a job opportunity abroad, and he left Alice in mine and my wife's custody. At first he said it was temporary, that he just needed to get things in order before Alice came to live with him, but eventually it was obvious that it would be much longer. He signed his rights over to us, and we've been raising her alongside our 3 sons. As far as the boys are concerned, Alice is their big sister, and as far as Alice is concerned, they're her little brothers. Daniel got remarried, and he had 2 daughters. Alice wasn't invited to the wedding, we only found out about it after his brother mentioned it to us. Daniel does send money for her, and they write letters back and forth like he and Rachel used to do in school. I know that there has to be some part of him that loves his daughter, but it's hard to believe it considering how he practically abandoned her after Rachel died. Daniel's brother Wes has helped out a bit with Alice too. She'll go over to his house at least once a month to see him, his wife, and their kids. A few days ago, I was taking Alice over, and when we got there, we saw that Daniel plus his wife and kids were there. I was ready to get back in the car and take Alice home, but Daniel saw us and came outside. He came up to Alice and tried to hug her, but she stepped back from him. He looked hurt, and when he asked why she didn't want to give her dad a hug, I snapped. I asked how he could seriously stand there and refer to himself as her dad when all he's ever been to her is a pen pal. I called him a joke of a father and a sorry excuse for a man. His wife and their daughters overheard what I said. When Alice and I got back home, Wes called me and left a message saying that he agrees that Daniel hasn't been the best father to Alice, but I didn't need to tell him that in front of his wife and their kids. Daniel feels the same way. I did apologize to Alice for disparaging her father, but she just shrugged and said it would have only been disparaging if it wasn't true. My wife said she probably would have done worse if she'd been there, but part of me does feel that I could have said it out of earshot of his children. I'd say your heroic behavior in stepping up as a father figure for 14 years makes up for one slight comment, and the only reason it was an comment was because it was in front of his kids. NTA they'll understand when they are older. Maybe it's good it was in front of his other kids. Daniel is a horrible excuse of a father. You're forgetting one key detail: Alice is also Daniel's kid. OP stood up for Daniel's kid in front of all of Daniel's kids. Not the best father to Alice? Is Wes joking? Daniel has never been a father to Alice. NTA. Yeah, just sending money as support doesn't automatically promote you from not being a father to not being the best father. He signed away, he writes. He's nowhere near being her father, even legally. At this point, he's a sperm donor. NTA. His wife knows what he is doing, being just a pen pal to his daughter. The 2 daughters will eventually get older and form their own opinions. Hell, even his daughter Alice said it was true. Does she know? It's possible that he gave it a pretty spin that of course he wanted Alice to live with them now that things were stable, but she chose OP. Maybe his wife doesn't even want Alice and is happy to believe his lies. Regardless, and I laughed when I read the end of Daniel agreeing with Wes. Wah, wah, deadbeat. Even his daughter Alice said it was true. And her opinion, honestly, carries the most weight in this. I mean, you might be an asshole, but sometimes being an asshole is fine. I would have said the same thing in your shoes, so I guess I'm one too. Please rest assured knowing that kid does in fact have a good dad. I recently saw someone use ABJ, asshole but justified, for an answer like this. Would that not be a great additional option on this page? I love it. He isn't Alice's dad. You are. And she clearly agrees. He is some sort of distant idea who sends money. Like some distant relative. Of course, losing the love of your life was tough, and I could see how he might have even irrationally blamed Alice, but he doesn't take accountability. He checked out, and now that he has his perfect little family, thinks he deserves Alice to be his daughter. But she isn't. Not emotionally. And you can tell Wes that you did what any father would do. You defended and protected your child. Biology doesn't make a family, and you share blood too. If he actually cared about Alice, he wouldn't be demanding or acting like this. It's all about him, and good for you for standing in her corner. NTA. NTA literally, the only possible way you could have been the slightest bit of an asshole here is if Alice was upset about what you said. And even then, it would be so minor compared to what your BIL did that I'd still vote him the asshole. And her brother isn't much better. It's nice that they see Alice once a month for a visit, but they clearly enable your BIL and have justified his atrocious actions. How dare they expect Alice to still consider this pen pal her dad? What you said wasn't just true, it had surely been building up for quite some time. And then to have to just accidentally stumble upon them, when they clearly didn't even try to visit Alice while they were here? My blood is boiling just thinking about it. Also, I just want to say that you and your wife are the furthest thing away from being assholes. And I am genuinely so grateful that Alice had the two of you to step in after she lost her mother and was abandoned by her father. And the fact she took on a big sis role to your 3 boys is just the sweetest thing ever. I hope Alice, your boys, and the only real parents she currently has here on earth, you and your wife, all the happiness in the world. Telling Daniel in front of Alice that he is a shitty father might just be what Alice needed to hear. You might be the first one ever who openly confronted her father in her presence, and who validated her all too real feelings that she is being utterly neglected by him. NTA. How could anyone confront him openly when he ran to another continent? Alice is a good one in being a pen pal because she could have ignored him totally the way he's done her most of her life. I'm actually glad the kids happened to be there to hear what an awe their dad is to their older sister, which I can guarantee he tried to make it seem like the relationship with Alice is totally different from what it actually is, stopping him from spinning a lie to them and have them wondering why she wants nothing to do with them. NTA. The truth hurts, and he had to hear it, so did he, wife and kids. Maybe his other kids will start to question him on why they don't see their sister. Good for you. AITA for celebrating my birthday. I, F17, have a twin sister who passed away almost a year ago. She was my best friend, and losing her felt like I lost part of myself. It feels like part of me is missing. I have been in therapy, which has helped me a lot. My parents, though, haven't been doing well. They argue a lot, which rarely ever happened before. It has made being at home difficult. Being a twin means my sister and I share a birthday. Yesterday was our birthday. I ended up missing school because I didn't think I would have been able to concentrate. My parents understood, so they let me stay home. They didn't wish me a happy birthday though, or buy me a present. They knew what day it was though. So I kinda just laid in bed all day. A few hours after the normal time school got out, a few close friends of both my sister came over with cupcakes, balloons, and presents. It honestly made me so happy my friends did that. We were in the basement just hanging out and talking when my mom yelled for me to come upstairs. She asked what was going on and I explained what happened. She said I can't believe I want to celebrate without my sister. I said well it's my birthday too and I miss my sister so much, today's been really hard for me, but you and dad act like today just isn't our birthday, you still have me, you should still acknowledge I'm here. And try to support me. She more got mad and called me selfish. We haven't talked since. It was very hard having my birthday without my twin, but to help me I feel like I can't just act like this day isn't happening, plus I know my twin would want me to still celebrate. NTA. Your parents need therapy, as do you. My sympathies OP. I am in therapy. My parents need it as well, I don't know why they didn't start. Based on what OP said, their mutual friends showed up unprompted to throw OP an intimate party, of them just chilling. This could also be part of their friend group's healing process, because people process grief differently. OP's birthday doesn't cease to exist because their twin passed away. It does a disservice to both of them by making the day all about the deceased. Ouch. Family therapy needed, not just for you. Well done on assertiveness. NTA. NTA. First, I am sorry for your loss, but cannot imagine your sister would want you live a life of mourning. Hoping she was there in spirit. Reminds me of an AITA post a few weeks back about a family whose tradition was to not celebrate anything family milestones or achievements at all because OP's brother died like 15 years prior. NTA. Firstly, I'm sorry for your loss. Secondly, I'm positive that your sister would want you to be happy. I understand your parents are upset and miss her, but that's no excuse to just pretend that a birthday doesn't exist and not acknowledge their daughter, who's also hurting. This is the first birthday without the twin. It's understandable that mom reacted poorly. First milestones are hard after a loss. It doesn't excuse mom's behavior, but I'm not going to say she's an for having a bad day on the first birthday without her child. NTA. And your parents are going to lose both their kids if they don't stop with this. NTA. They've lost one child, now she's trying to push another one away. Happened to a friend of mine. After her sister died, their mom acted like she didn't even exist anymore. She only talked about her dead daughter. If you met her after the accident, you'd think she only had the one child, since she totally disregarded her other daughter's existence after that. Your parents are a-holes, you have the right to celebrate your birthday. NTA. NTA, I'm so sorry for your loss and can't imagine what you must be going through, but I am speechless. You are absolutely right that, while mourning is important, your parents should be sensitive to your loss as well. I'd suggest therapy for all of you so that you can have a neutral party help put things into perspective. AITA for buying all the red Gatorade at the store even though a mom wanted some for her kids? I'm a big fan of Gatorade, and I have a specific reason for buying it. I have low blood sugar and dehydration issues, and my doctor recommended that I drink Gatorade to help keep my electrolytes in balance. However, I'm also neurodivergent and it's hard for me to change things up and try new flavors, so I only buy the red kind, as it's the only one I like. Yesterday, I went to the grocery store on their stock day, and I saw that they had a fresh shipment of Gatorade. I was so happy, because I had been running low at home. I grabbed the bottles of the red flavor and put them in my cart. As I was walking away, a mom with 2 kids approached me and asked if I could spare a few bottles of the red Gatorade. She explained that it was her kids' favorite flavor, and that they were out of stock at their local store. I felt bad for her, but I explained that I needed the Gatorade for my own health reasons, and that I couldn't spare any. The mom got really upset and started to yell at me, saying that I was being selfish and that I should think about others. I tried to explain my situation again, but she wouldn't listen and kept telling me I could just take the blue Gatorade instead. I just started to ignore her after a while, and eventually, she stormed off. Now I'm wondering if I was in the wrong. Should I have given her some of the Gatorade, even though I needed it for my own health? Or was I justified in keeping it all for myself? AITA? Edit, I should clarify since this is coming up in the comments, I didn't really want to go into specifics, but here we are. No, my doctor did not recommend specifically red Gatorade for this issue. He recommended Gatorade. The red Gatorade is needed because I deal with OCD and have issues with change to my routine and trying new things. It can be debilitating to deal with panic attacks induced by such a small problem and can remove my focus from my process of treating the bigger problems with my OCD, so I have chosen, at the advice of a therapist, to allow myself to stick to this small routine and avoid further disruption during my process of getting better. Editing again, thank you everyone for your comments. I am going to stop replying now, as this is getting really overwhelming for me. I guess the consensus is that I am TA, I suppose I will accept that. I wish my food aversion was something I could just turn off, but I can't, and it's a process to work through these things for me. I hope people in the comments can understand that I am not trying to intentionally be an asshole and take things from other people. I just have a fear of not being able to keep the little things in my routine, and that feeling trumps a lot of things for me. If you don't struggle with OCD, be grateful. OP states in the comments and main post that the drinks were just restocked and also that the OP was taking literally all of them. Doesn't matter if it's Gatorade, insulin, or toilet paper, hoarding all of the supply when you 1, clearly have enough for a while, and 2, there is someone else in the store wanting to buy some makes you an asshole. The kid could be neurodivergent also, you don't know. And I guarantee you, if you arrived and this mom did the same thing and took literally all of your special drink as soon as it was stocked, you would be infuriated. If you really can only do red and need to bulk order it, work with the store manager or order online. Often you can get up to a pallet for a lower price than on the shelves just by scheduling a special order. YTA. I'll probably get a lot of hate for this, but YTA. You are indeed selfish for buying a store out of its entire stock of a product on stock day, because that means they will be out of that product for anyone who comes to buy it until they restock. That lady shouldn't have yelled at you obs, but I do understand her frustration. Just a suggestion, but if your need is that great, you really should speak to the store manager because they'd likely be happy and able to order and stock extra if it's a regular need. I've actually been in this position. Murphy's manager kept 2 cases of a drink specifically for me, and I picked them up when I could about every 2 weeks. YTA, because you are acting like your health would be at great risk if you had 2 bottles less. Also, where do you live that a new shipment is only 14 or 15 bottles? That seems a normal amount for the one flavor. I don't know how many flavors of Gatorade there are, but it's normal in shops near me to just get 1 case of each flavor when there's multiple flavors of the one drink. Most people aren't so attached to the one flavor that they won't consider switching to another if they run out anyway. Raspberry Lucozade Sport is my favorite, but I'm happy to switch to the orange or lemon and lime if it's out. And they're all just loose bottles? Like not the packs of them? Was this at like the dollar store? YTA, depending on how many bottles you were buying. If there was only a few, whatever, but if you were buying an obscene amount, you could have spared a couple. YTA. If you need something that badly and are going to clear the shelves, buy a case online and have a recurring delivery. YTA. Both for clearing the shelf and then refusing to let someone have a few on the pretense of a health condition. Give me a break. You were just being greedy and selfish. YTA, sorry. It's not evil, what you did, just rude. Like the woman on Seinfeld who wouldn't spare a square. YTA, you don't need specifically red Gatorade for your health. There are other flavors and even other brands of sports drink that do the same thing. No one needs Gatorade for their health. Electrolytes, sure. A sugar-filled sweet drink? No. It is almost abominable that they call it a sports drink. Red Gatorade is best Gatorade, but sharing is caring. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.